Welcome back. Our new character will be named Echo. This is Echo. Here's the characters. Before we start, remember to like and subscribe. Now let's start. The Gen 1 boat sails past the island. Here comes the new cast. Their boat blows up. Everyone swims to shore. They make it to shore. Chris says they all have to run to the end of the trail. They hear a dangerous roar and trees are knocked over. The teams will be decided by the order they arrive. By the way, I lied. Team A is Lightning, Scott, B, Dawn, Echo, and Maria, and Stacy. Team B has Joe, Brick, Cameron, Mike, Zoe, Dakota, and Sam.
What was that thing back in the forest?
Team A will be the toxic rats. Team B is the mutant maggots. It's just a squirrel.
I want one.
Dakota runs to Sam. Chris says that he hid an immunity totem somewhere on the island. He also says that he rented the island to a toxic waste company. Time for the challenge. 2 totem poles are tied to trees. Teams will have to get their totem poles and take it to the cabins. They also have to get it to the cabins before the time bomb explodes. The maggots will get a trampoline. The rats will get a hacksaw.
Let's Shaw win this.
Joe bounces into the water. B gets an idea. He sets up some kind of catapult thing.
Let's win this.
Brick panics.
Just cut the dang rope!
Brick tries getting the axe off the totem pole. He tries getting the mutant squirrel away from him. The paparazzi takes photos of Dakota. Chris kills them. Mike or Chester throws a rock at the squirrel. The squirrel blasts lasers. The laser squirrel breaks the branch.
Mission accomplished.
The toxic rats get their totem pole. They race to the cabins. Zoe cries for help. Mike gasps. He saves her.
B wants us to lean forward.
The rats make it to the bottom. They place their totem pole and their bomb is defused. They claim the good cabin, but the maggot's totem pole crashes into it. The rat's cabin is destroyed. Chris says the rats are up for elimination. Time to see who's going home. It's Stacy.
14th place, Stacy.
Her hair falls out when she gets the toxic marshmallow of loserdom. Episode 2, Truth or Laser Shark. Scott rushes into the cabin and he's really messy. He makes up an excuse.
I was looking for the immunity statue, but I don't want them to know that.
Cameron observes Mike talking to himself during the night. Brick goes on a run. He runs into Joe. They argue about who's more athletic. Time for the challenge.
But I haven't had my beauty sleep.
Chris takes away Dakota's smartphone and Sam's game guy. They walk to the challenge. Time for the challenge. Chris will reveal a secret about someone on a team. If they fess up, their team gets a point. If they don't, they'll be sent underwater. The other team will get to guess. There's also a giant mutant shark named Fang. Halfway into the challenge, Scott almost dies. Everyone argues. This part ends early because everyone doesn't want to do it. On their way to the second part, Joe makes fun of Cameron. The second part is a relay race. I never actually did this with chatgpt. I just skipped to the elimination since the results were the same, and it was really complicated to assign roles and I'd have to add another part to the race. Team Rat wins. Team Maggots lose thanks to Dakota. Dakota is voted off.
13th place, Dakota.
Episode 3, Ice Ice Baby. Brick and Joe race. Brick accidentally swallows his spoon. Joe punches it out of him. It hits Mike in the face and he gets mad and acts like an old man. Lightning chokes and Dawn saves him. She was just saving a beetle he swallowed. They all run out when they see a mutant rat. Time for the challenge. The contestants must climb the mountain. They're allowed to use any junk from this pile that's guarded by a giant mutant beetle. Brick dislocates his arm. Mike helps Zoe. Lightning kicks rocks onto them. Dawn distracts the beetle. B gets an idea. Lighting, Scott, and Echo all get hit. Brick gets hit. Zoe, Mike, and Cameron get climbing. Dawn realizes the tiny beetle is the baby of the giant beetle, calms it down. B built a rocket chair for his team. They blast off. Joe makes it to the top. The rats win the first part. Time for the second part. The rats get a choice for their base. The maggots will get the one they don't choose. Scott chooses the bad one and they rats get made at him. They'll now have a snowball fight and capture the flag. To win, they must have the last fort standing or get the other team's flag. Scott sends Echo and Lighting. Joe sends Brick and Zoe. Echo falls in water and gets frozen. Lightning gets knocked out by a snowball. B makes a lens out of ice to melt the maggot's fort. Mike says he's Svetlana now. He's sent flying towards the rat's fort to get their flag. His shirt rips and he says he's Vito now. He grabs the flag. Scott, Brick, and Mike fight and Scott is thrown out and he sees the maggots are losing. He sabotages the rats. He accuses B of sabotage. The maggots win. Scott convinces everyone to vote for B. Dakota comes back to be with Sam. Chris makes her an intern. B is eliminated. Episode 4, Finders Creepers. It's the middle of the night. There's a loud alarm. They run out panicking. Time for the challenge. Brick is scared cause it's a night challenge and he's afraid of the dark. It's a scavenger hunt. There's clues on the island. There's also a giant mutant spider hunting them down. When a team loses a member, they'll be penalized. The rats take the lead. The maggots hide in a bush to spy on the rats.
Inside of a knot is a nest. Your souvenir lives with a pest. Find Polaris to travel northwest.
They follow the North Star. The maggots follow them. Dawn goes missing. Lightning looks in the tree. He finds the key. He is taken. Joe throws their most expendable player. She throws Cameron and he finds the key. Zoe goes missing. Echo gets exploded by landmines. The maggots make it to the graveyard. The maggots find a clue. Sam finds out that the numbers mean. Mike falls from a tree. His shirt gets ripped. He's Vito now. Anne-Maria falls in love with him. Sam unlocks it and he's sent flying U. Sam, Joe, and Cameron arrive at the cave. Sam and Joe enter while Cameron goes back to get Mike. Joe and Sam get captured. They make out. They continue to make out.
Spider!
Echo and Wildfire get webbed together. Anne-Maria kisses Mike. Cameron attacks the spider. Mike goes to save Zoe. Brick falls and Joe tells him to get the hook and win. Brick, Echo, and Scott make it out. The rats win. Time for the elimination. Brick volunteers to be eliminated. Whoever is eliminated tonight will swap teams. Brick is now on the toxic rats. Episode 5, Backstabbers Ahoy. The rats wake up to a trombone. It's just Brick's alarm clock. Cameron observes Mike's multiple personalities. Lightning's protein powder goes missing. Scott accuses Brick while Echo defends him. Time for the challenge. Brick and Joe race for the water skis while their teams pump air. Fang attacks Brick. Lightning pumps air really fast. The rats win. The rats get a speedboat and the maggots get a dinghy. They have to shoot water mines to get points. They have to shoot rattlesnake seagull hybrid. Zoe and Lightning will be the drivers. Joe and Scott will shoot. Everyone else skis. Joe shoots Lightning. Scott scores. Mike scores. Buckethead. Lightning and Echo swap. Joe's gun gets jammed. They crash. Scott shoots Echo. Joe throws Cameron. He slams into Lightning. They land on the mine. Maggots win. Dawn says she'll expose Scott as the traitor he is. Scott stole everyone's stuff and framed Dawn. Dawn is eliminated, but she has the immunity idol. It's a fake made by Scott. She warns them about a traitor.
11th place Dawn.
Episode 6, Runaway Model. Echo snoops around during the night to find out who's the traitor. He stays up all night. Anne-Maria and Zoe argue about Mike. The rats confront Echo on where he was and why he wasn't in the cabins in the morning. He's unable to keep his story straight. Scott accuses him of being the traitor. Zoe confronts Mike about his crazy characters. Time for the challenge. Teams will each have to find a mutant animal to dress up for a fashion show. The guest judge is Lindsay. The mutant maggots get a mutant maggot. Zoe dresses it up. The rats decide to have their model be a Yeti. Brick makes a detonating duffel bag to explode the clothes onto the Yeti. The maggots score from the judges is 24.6. The rats run on stage and are punched by the Yeti. The rats get a low score and they are up for elimination. Echo tries to convince his team to not vote him off.
11th place Echo.
Joe and Scott swap teams. Episode 7, a mine is a terrible thing to waste. Brick tells Joe the rules of being on this team. There's no breakfast. They're all trapped in a truck. Time for the challenge. The contestant have to find a Chris totem in the mine and bring it back. They also have to wear backpacks and chemical badges. Dakota has radiation poisoning. The rats get trapped under rocks. The elevator goes crashing down. Brick goes sliding down. He loses the fireflies. Mike finds a cool hat. Mike is now Manitoba. He finds mine cart tracks. Joe and Lightning catch the fireflies. The maggots find mine carts. Brick and Anne-Maria find a flashlight. They find a mutant gopher. The maggots split apart. Mike and Cameron hit the ground and the rest fall into the water. Mutant gophers attack them. Brick and Anne-Maria both run. Brick uses the smell of his boots as a defense weapon. Anne-Maria tells him to put it back on. Joe convinces Lightning to vote off Brick. The rats regroup. They get captured. The maggots regroup. They hear the rats. The rats are captured. Joe uses the fire FLIs to save the rats. Lightning grabs the thing. Joe tells everyone to get in the mine carts. Mike grabs the thing. Zoe and Cameron in trouble. Mike gives it to Scott. He discards it and he gets in the minecart. Brick grabs the totem from the ground and saves the maggots. He apologizes for breaking the totem. He helps them into the minecart and everyone escapes. The rats win. Cameron confronts Mike about his multiple personality disorder and convinces him to vote for Scott. There's a tie between Scott and Sam.
Scott wins.
Sam is eliminated.
10th place Sam.
Episode 8, The Treasure Island of Dr. McLean. The contestants wake up on rafts. Mike is now Manitoba. Cameron pushes Zoe and takes off the hat. The challenge is to get to shore and then find the treasure. Last team to shore gets a penalty. Lightning rows. Brick and Joe push. Joe pushes Anne-Maria into the water and tell her to push. They start fighting. Brick separates them. Lightning tells them all to stop. They all get captured by a mutant squid. Mike, Scott, and Cameron push while Zoe rows. Fang attacks Scott and throws him at the squid. Cameron insults the squid while the rats swim to shore. The maggots are sent flying. The maggots are first. They get a compass and map. They must now find the treasure, Sam and Gwen. The rats have to wear penalty belts and they get a metal detector even though the chest is wooden. Scott shows Zoe his immunity idol. She's honored that he'd show her. She trusts Scott. Cameron and Mike say they don't trust Scott. There's a giant mutant crocodile. Cameron figures out that Mike turns back into Mike when Zoe is in danger. Mike lost the compass and map is ruined. Lighting is attacked by alligators. Mike becomes Vito, but Cameron helps him. The maggots get digging. Brick and Anne-Maria are concerned for Lightning. The metal detector goes off and under the rock is a metal and wooden key. They unlock the penalty belts. Joe, Brick, and Anne-Maria start digging. The rats win. Mike doesn't trust Scott. Scott gets Mike's secret. Cameron asks why there's no marshmallows. Dakota ate them all. Scott is eliminated. He has the immunity statue, so he's safe. He's safe. Cameron is eliminated.
8th place Cameron.
Dakota and Sam are also thrown. Thanks for watching. These are the contestants who will be in the merge. All 7 of them will also be in All-Stars. Who should be in All-Stars from the OG cast? Tell me in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and come back next time. And Happy New Year!